Welcome to Math with Mrs. Cox. We're on Chapter 6, Lesson 9, Estimate Quotients, page 429 in your math book. I think you're going to really like this chapter. The key is going to be finding compatible numbers. When you estimate, your answer doesn't have to be very precise with the problems in this chapter. Let's begin. Number 1, using compatible numbers, we need to look at the 2 and think of something that will be compatible with 2. So 15 does not work very well, but 16 will. 16 divided by 2 is 8. So 15.8 divided by 2 is about $8. Since 2 times 8 is 16, and 16 is about or approximately equal to 15.8, the answer is reasonable. Number 2, 3 friends went out to dinner. The total cost of their meals was $32.57. If the friends split the bill evenly, about how much will each person pay? Explain why your answer is reasonable. So, looking at this divisor, think of something that's going to be compatible with that divisor. They're going to round 32 to 33 because 33 and 3 are compatible. So we're going to divide 33 by 3, and it equals 11. So each friend will pay about $11, and since 3 times 11 is 33, and 33 is about or approximately around 32.57. The answer is reasonable. Number 1, estimating the quotient. Now, throughout this whole chapter, you might estimate the divisor or the dividend or both. Okay, so keep that in mind. Let's look at this 5 as the divisor. What's something that works well with 5 that's close to 1950? You're right, 20. 20 divided by 5 is 4. Okay, number 2, 47.25 divided by 25. Well, I'm looking at this 25, trying to think what gets along well with it, and I think 50 would be very compatible, because mentally in my head, I could say the answer is 2. Dollar signs. Number 3, looking at our problems here, I would say that 4, a number that gets along really well, would be 16, would be compatible, because mentally I can say 16 divided by 4 is 4. Told you you'd like this chapter, this lesson. Estimate each quotient, and you've got to write your work out of what you're estimating it to. So looking at this 11, think of a number that gets along really well with it. You're right. 88 divided by 11 is 8. Okay, number 5, looking at the divisor, I can see that 45 is a close estimate, and it's very compatible with 5, because then my answer is 9. Number 6. Now this is where you can change both the numbers. This number is really close to 200, but 12 doesn't really go into it very nicely, but 10 does. Remember the rule of zeros? You can cross off each of those zeros, and the 200 divided by 200 divided by 10 would be 20. Number 7, 28.20 would get along a little bit better with 30, because 30 is compatible with 6. Number 8, looking to see what is compatible with 6. They rounded it to $6 to equal $1. Don't forget those dollar signs. Number 9, looking at the divisor of 9. I bet this number would be a little more compatible because mentally I can say the answer is 10. Number 10, 128.9 divided by 12. Let's see, I bet if I turned this into 120 divided by 12, I can say that there are 10 left over. 11, 576.4 divided by 62. Okay, looking at this, I think I'm going to change both of these numbers. 576 is close to 600, and then I can change this to 60, and then we can do the rule of zeros. So 60 divided by 6 is going to be a 10. Number 12, $15.47 divided by 7. That's not very compatible, but 1547. Let's see, let's change both of them. Let's change this one to 16 because that could be more compatible with 8. We're changing both of those numbers. So then our answer is going to be about $2. Number 13, 56.3 divided by 18. Those are not compatible at all. So I'm going to round those both up to 60 and 20 because they need to get along. And 60 and 20 get along so much nicer. And I know that I can do the rule of zeros. And 6 divided by 2 equals 3. Number 14, it costs $158.75 to purchase 15 tickets at the state fair. About, whoops, got to push the markup button so that I can use my marker. About how much does each ticket cost? Well, we can round these numbers to make them more compatible, and 15 tickets is what I need to find something that's compatible to. So I'm going to round this to 150. I know it's not very precise, but it's compatible with 15 because then I know that 15 will go into 150 10 times. So each ticket costs about $10. Jake bought 3 drawing pens for $8.07. Each pen costs the same amount. About how much did he spend for one pen? Well, 3 and 8 are not very compatible, so something that would get along well with 3 would be 9. Bump that number up to 9 divided by 3, and I know that it'd be $3. Each pen costed about $3. Number 16, a canoe rental company offers 2 trips along the river. Neil and Gabriella chose the longer trip. If they split the cost of the rental, about how much will each person pay? So first of all, we need to find the longer trip. This one is 5.75 miles. This one's 8.5. So in miles, B is definitely longer because 8 is a longer distance than the 5. So we need to estimate that trip, and they split that trip in 2. So 16 would be easier to split than 1632. So I'm going to say 16 split into 2 is about $8. So they spent about $8. Each person will spend about $8. Okay, number 17, Brain Builder. This one was not my favorite. They kind of worded this one funny. And let's talk about it. It costs $96.50 for 6 adults and 1 child to see an exhibit on Egyptian mummies. Child tickets are $8. Child tickets are $8. About how much does it cost for 1 adult to see the exhibit? So naturally, we'd want to just take $8 from the $96.50. But if we do that, it won't give us a very compatible answer. So what the book did is they did that it will be about $90 because this is something they want us to figure out in our head, and then divided by the 6 adults. So they didn't take the full $8 away from it. They kind of just did a compatible number and estimated something that would be easy to work with. And when you have 90 divided by 6, it will go into it 15 times. So that's how they get each ticket for the adults would be about $15. Number 18, write a real-world estimation problem involving dividing a decimal by a whole number, then estimate the quotient. Explain whether the estimation is greater than or less than the actual amount. Okay, here is the answer. $13.92 is split evenly by two friends. About how much money will each friend receive? $14 divided by 2 equals $7. Each friend receives about $7. Since $13.92 was rounded up, the estimate is greater than the actual amount. Okay, number 19. How can I use compatible numbers to estimate the quotient of a decimal and a whole number? Okay, there's what your answer key looks like. Go ahead and show me before you turn it in.